Alright, here we are, hoping for some shenanigans. Let's get two pretty interesting players on our plate. We'll go into the discussions here in a moment's time, and we'll see if Rifkin can make it through this game and this series before passing out of the keyboard. Pull a pain user or Nathanius, sleep on stream all day, every day. Alright, here we are. Back at DreamHack Open 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, spotted here at the top left corner of merry-go-round in this fresh best of 3. Rounding up hour 14 of casting right about meow, it is the purple Protoss Starnan from Property. Woo! Really sad show stopped playing StarCraft 2, but Property's still on a really nice team. His opponent at the top right. We're seeing a little bit more today than I think we had anticipated to in the first place, but it is the Green Terran player from Alien Invasion, Lillekanin. Just take like deep breaths after like every single thing I say. That'll get annoying very quickly. Alright, so Lillekanin has shown us he can do some funny stuff, he can do some weird stuff, but it's usually versus Terran and it's usually versus Zerg. I don't know if he's got any special tactics to go up against, say, the likes of Starnan, but if he does, he'll have to pull them out, because Starnan is a player who I have seen perform fantastically when it comes to the late game. And it's not even the power of Protoss or anything balanced whiny. He's just got good control and good decision making. And a lot of the times, that's what it takes to win against somebody else in StarCraft 2. Rarely is it actually your race that comes into balance, and very not often is it your rank or practice, but it's just like, can you make the right decision? Can you split enough Colossus? Can you gauge how many Vikings you need for this engagement? Is it worth pulling your SCVs? I mean, the better player will prevail in PvT, and that's why, I gotta say, like, for a long time, and it's TVZ is still, bottom line, my favorite matchup for the action. But for decision making, watching the sort of chess-like element that StarCraft is, PvT has got to be number one. And a lot of this comes down to scouting information, reading and misreading your opponents. And we'll see if Lillekanin decides to invest in that first Reaper, as we do so commonly see in this matchup. He is going for just the SCV Scout for the time being, which is perfectly fine. Could even engineer a block if he wants to be a real dick. I mean, annoyance, nuisance, public menace. Yeah, he's probably going to go for it. Or at least hold position to prevent a faster Nexus. The key thing here is that he doesn't really lose the SCV. There have been instances in the past where players have done some fantastic scouting with an SCV, more so than a Reaper, but two probes going to chase us off. Not really going to be able to do too much with this. Actually, is this going to die? No way. Alright, yeah, he gets out. No Reaper was made. It was, in fact, Marines coming out here first. A couple Marines with a high ground advantage at the top of a ramp. Don't really fear Stalkers. They don't really care about Zealots. It is the Mothership Core and the Oracles that are quite so scary, but Lillekanin, with this very quick factory, will be pumping out a Widowmine. A very freaking fast Widowmine that looks like he will be intending to drop. So what's nice about the Widowmine, guys, is if you get one very early, you can stick it in your mineral line if you're really paranoid, if you're really scared of your opponent going for Oracles. Now, there's no reason for him to think that. He saw there was no second gas. He didn't see the expansion, but you can only assume that if your opponent brings two probes to chase you off, chances are they're maybe looking to expand a little bit. The 3 Marines on guard. And I wouldn't mind walking forward here too. So even if a Stalker came poking across the map, it really wouldn't get a lot done. The nice thing about the Widowmine in the early game, well, Zealots will chop Marines to bits. You'll see Stalkers kite them all day. The Widowmine can burrow. It can ignore all of that mess. And it can do it before dying. But Lillekanin gonna mosey on over, and we'll see what's getting done with this. I mean, putting it in the mineral line is gonna be a nuisance, but just the same way Terran players have become so accustomed to just building 6 Marines and sticking them in a mineral line to prevent paranoid Oracle, I guess you can call it. In the same token, a lot of Protoss players kind of go for fast robos. They just get it for the observer, if nothing else, and that's precisely what we see happening here. Now the SCV is gonna try and scout to see if it's safe for the Widowmine to come up here. It's kind of a cute move. I see Solus in the chat stating that Lillekanin lives in black and white and is the voice of an angel. For those who don't know, Lillekanin actually streams almost 24/7. He's a really funny guy who plays 2v2s, but oh my god, does he have a high-pitched voice when he gets excited? And for some reason chooses to, I don't know, use a black and white camera? He wears striped t-shirts, he's from Europe. It must be an artistic thing, right? Anyways, the Widowmine's gonna get the Triborough. Ooh, actually barely gets down with 4 health. Will one-shot the Zealot. Now the Marines can more easily contend with the Stalkers. I wouldn't say super easily, but this is kind of a move we've seen similar to that of Xenocider in the past, where you just try and slow down or throw down the bunker behind this. This prompts out the overcharge, of course, aptly so, and now the Marines can push into the main. Stalkers is usually a bit of an issue. If he's controlling these a little bit better, it won't be. But if he sees the glow of that Oracle, or not the Oracle, rather the Observer, he should try and snipe that off. But going for the Stalkers, they're backed in a corner. Nowhere left to kite. Probe's being pulled. Is he going to get the Mothership Core on top of this? This is going to be straight up disgusting if he does. Probe's distracted with that. He's going to pick up one Marine at a time. The low ones to try and buy himself a little more time to work here. He's actually getting way more done on this job than I thought he would have. Only a couple workers have died, but he got the Stalkers. This Mothership Core, is it going to go down? Well, the Stalker does, so now there's no way to shoot that medevac down. It's only got 7 health, and he gets to the mineral lines. This is so absurd that so few units are doing so much damage, but finally, oh my god, he gets the Mothership Core. I was going to say, he can clean this up with relative losses, but with the Mothership Core going down, not only is that 100 gas, 100 minerals out the window, that's a lack of an overcharge. And this wasn't like a cheesy move. This was pretty standard stuff for a Terran player to do. Resources lost, Lillekanin comes out looking fantastic. Physical units lost, still looking really slick, and did that wood mine reburrow? Oh my god, it chased off mining. Now there's an Observer here, it's dead, but still pretty good use out of this attack. A Banshee follow up at home, and I gotta say guys, like 3 Marines, if you micro them correctly, if you have good control of your units, that is precisely what you can make happen. And that's what I'm talking about with players making the good decision making. Now, Lillekanin, by the way, just side note, and I say this because like I know the guy, if he would work on his macro just a little bit, he could seriously be like a world-class contender for tournaments. He could be right up there with some of the best. He could probably even contend with some Koreans. But a lot of the time, he tries to get ahead in his cheese and thus doesn't need to macro, and I think years of doing that has kind of formed bad habits. I'll just leave it at that. But no, he's a really good player when he's in the zone, and quite frankly, looking pretty darn good right now. Now it's worth noting, as far as this group goes for them guys, for those who don't know what group this is Group L. These are both the loser matches currently going on here, sadly. So Lillekanin lost to MMA and Starnan lost to Showtime. Man, why am I not guessing MMA versus Showtime? No, I'm just kidding, I like these guys. So, for one of them, the tournament life comes to an end after this best of 3. And hopefully the best one does manage to make it through. We'll see who that ends up being. But I like the Marine spread on the middle of the map. Just, you know, he's got to control the watchtower, a couple Marines here and there sprinkled. 50 minerals for one of these units is way cheaper than trying to lose SCVs, getting caught off guard, having an all-in warped into your face. But the Banshees are fully repaired and looks like they go back for round 2. The tanks are a really interesting choice because tanks suck versus Immortals. But they're pretty good against everything else. They got that burst fire, but it's such a low cooldown, or long cooldown rather. 2 Banshees, though, are not something he's perhaps anticipating. There are 3 Stalkers waiting, but the thing is, Stalkers don't really deal bonus damage to Banshees. They are light units, so while there's an Observer here and the Cloak is going to get not a lot done, if microed correctly, you can probably pick up a couple of these Stalkers and walk away. Well, never mind. This was only 3 before, and that was totally feasible. Not with 5, though. Definitely not with 5. Now, it's funny, a lot of players have been arguing about whether Banshees are good or not versus Protoss, and how some people are saying they're complete wastes. I find it very interesting because Goody, player of course known for going mech 24/7 against everybody, all day, every day, has actually found some great success in using Banshees with his pushes. Of course, though, regardless of whether you're going mech or whether you're going bio, and Lillekanin is actually going to go mech here, one of the biggest things you do have to integrate are ghosts. You know, tanks are great, hellbots or whatever, but you're never going to push through Immortals if they have those hardened shields. Funny fact though guys, the second the Immortals Hardened Shield goes away, they're just a regular unit with 200 health. They can take that bonus damage, they go down so freaking quick. But the way the Hardened Shield works is no matter how hard you hit them, the damage is reduced to 10. So if you land a 500 tank shot blast on them, doesn't matter, 10 damage. 11 shot, 11 damage? No, it's 10 damage. It just gets removed, or remoted. The base rate TV bot got demodded. Yeah, oops, I banned it earlier. That's fixed now. But one thing for Lillekanin that's pretty cool moving forward here is this Raven. Now, it's going to give detection for this Observer, that's cool, whatever. Auto turrets are really not going to be too relevant, and quite frankly, Seeker missiles are blech. They do go through shields, though, because, of course, they are spells, not attacks. But the point defense drone nullifies Stalker shots. And unlike Marauders, Stalkers shoot at such a low rate of fire in comparison, that point defense drone will soak a ton of hits. It allows the siege tanks to get in that position, to actually deal with those units. But this is such an oddball thing to see. Now, he's got a lot of SCVs in this to repair for the time being. Love that choice, because he doesn't have a lot of units to work with, but mech might be something that perhaps Starnan's not really well versed with. There are some players who can... You can get, like, Stardust, for example. I'll use him as an example here. he can find a build that he's never been attacked with before in his life. Mech, bio, some sort of cheese. He'll be able to analyze it very quickly and know precisely how to respond to it. That's not the case for all players, though. In Starnan, I don't know how much he's played against Mech. Mech for the last, like, 4 years has been garbage versus Protoss. I'm talking Wings of Liberty, I'm talking Imaginary StarCraft time, Beta time, HOTS. But recently it's becoming more and more viable, more and more feasible. I still wouldn't say it's quite at that sweet spot yet, but siege tank range does kind of go unparalleled. The Immortals, though, were a unit designed specifically to counter siege tanks, so this will not be an easy fight to take. A lot of these Marines are here as buffer, same with those Hellbats, but unless you can get in and start poking away, maybe pick off, yeah. With a Banshee, that would have been really nice to get some snipes. However, with the Observer there, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's a lot of Banshees, though. A lot of Banshees now because their DPS is fantastic. They can strip shields of the Immortals like nobody's business. They can, of course, attack the Colossus because they can both air and ground units. And let's not forget Stalkers. Well, pretty good. Still go down pretty quickly. They don't have a whole lot of health once those shields break. But there's one Banshee segmented off. Might catch him a little bit off guard. Can pick off a couple of these drones, or probes rather, mining this base. You know you're out of it when you start seeing drones, right? Like you're casting a Protoss player and somehow you see drones. Ugh. Ooh, nice kill. Really, not a whole lot going on, but it is awkwardly awesome to watch the Banshees go to work, guys. Again, their damage cannot be undervalued. It's not actually so much just their damage. Their damage is great, but it's the rate of attack that is abnormally high for mechanical units. But we finally have Ghost coming out for Lillekanin. This is why he hasn't moved out of his base, and rightfully so. If he tries to siege up, doesn't matter. Keep in mind, guys, Immortals hit for 55 damage, almost twice as fast as a siege tank. Siege tank in siege mode, okay, granted, it hits for 55 as well, but twice the attack speed cooldown. And of course, they don't have hardened shields, so Immortals, again, a little bit better than tanks, just a smidgen. The Banshees clean up the proxy pylons. Might not seem like they're doing a lot either, kind of like a consolation prize type thing, but it's a big deal. Because as a mech player, one thing that doesn't change from Terran versus Terran, Terran versus Zerg, or Terran versus Protoss is you get a Death Volley army. You get an army that's not meant to react and fall back and constantly defend, harass, and that's something that Starnan can certainly do. Warp in 9 Zealots behind your opponent, walk to the mineral line, and laugh as they have nothing to defend it. But the Ghost count, this is a big deal. Now, there's not only one out at the moment, it's freshly made. This won't be the situation we sometimes see where Ghosts cloaked on mask and take on the Protoss army, blah, 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 blah. No, they have one function, one feature. They're not meant to fight, they're not meant to snipe, strictly here for EMPs. They're going to take the shields away from those Immortals and make this a feasible fight for Lillekanin. Now, this isn't some build he's whipped out for DreamHack, guys. He's done mech before, I just don't know if he's had a lot of success for it or not. Hellbat's also going to go down up here. Banshee's still getting some nice harass off. Up to 17 kills on this one Banshee, guys. It's pretty much going to die if, like if the pilot farts, that thing's exploding type deal. So with 2 health, it doesn't have a lot of potential left. But again, this Raven is going to be so critical. Point defense drones. Keep Blink Stalkers at bay. Now, granted, Blink's holding on the way, but he doesn't know. This kind of have to assume it's out at this point after revealing the tanks. But terrain is another big thing he can try to incorporate into this army, into the value. Ghost, though, it's so scary. You can't put him on the front lines. You can't have him sitting in the back. And if he gets stuck within the tanks like this, then you're never going to have that sweet EMP go off on top of the Immortals. But as we see, it might not be necessary. Lots of splash damage can help make up for that difference. Hellbats, of course, going to buffer for this quite a bit with their lovely health pool, and siege tanks will outzone the Colossus. But this precisely is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Zealots warped in for a counterattack. Now, yes, you can make Hellbats, yes, you can make some Hellions, maybe try and defend, but he's got to lose a little bit of supply first. There we go. A couple of Hellbats going to die, allowing new ones to be made back at home. The tank count is getting pretty low, though. He doesn't have a whole lot of SVs here in the terms of repair. Did he retreat to the main? Ooh, no, he didn't. So he actually just got his natural base gutted a little bit there. If any got away, it really wasn't much. Hellions on the return. Still no lifting those supply depots. What? Dude. This is like, dude, come on. Come on. Blue Flame Hellions going to be fantastic here against Zealots, of course. Marines and Marauders take forever to kill them with that bonus damage versus light. Kick it in. 36 from the Hellbats. quite a bit of damage or shots. This one hero Banshee, seriously, just straight up a hero. Still going at her. It's dead. But it doesn't go down without a fight. Almost kills one of the, I guess the shields, not really kills, but the shields get stripped off this. Tempests are coming out next, guys. This, once more, is when the point defense drones come into big effect. Tempests have incredibly long range. They hit pretty hard. Of course, not as hard versus massive air, but still, nonetheless, very annoying to deal with as a Terran player. Typically, Vikings win, but you can't just send them in blindly. If you point defense drone, it will soak up those Tempest hits. It's a big, slow dart, and the point defense drone has no problem shooting it down. I don't know why. I don't know how a little laser pointer can take down this big, massive plasma ball of energy, but somehow it can, and somehow it does. Lillekanin scanning around the map right now, make sure there's no hidden bases. I actually kind of like this move. It is something you do have to worry about. Oftentimes you'll end up thinking you've beaten your opponent, but surprise, surprise, there's a hidden base top right corner of the map. This is such an awkward spot for him. It doesn't really keep him close enough at home to defend. It doesn't put him far enough forward to contain. And as we can see, with just even a little bit of breathing room, Starnan still expands behind this. Ooh, dead scan though. Wait. Anion pulse crystals. Why? Is it gonna be Phoenix? I mean, I guess the Phoenix will work as the Banshee is a light unit. It's just weird and it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why you would do that, but I guess having the option for Phoenix is never a bad thing. I was really expecting just the straight up Tempest come out of this though. Something that a lot of Terran players have been struggling with, but yeah, Nexus gets cancelled. He can throw a couple hellbats if he needs to. Keeping the Banshee alive is kind of a priority, but he's going to get some of the Immortals for his trouble too. As we see, the armor's, the hardened shield kicking in pretty nicely. Hellbats that otherwise hit for 22 only hit for 10 per shot. It is a nuisance. One shot the Stalker so your Banshee doesn't die, bro. What? The Immortal kill, you can still get it if you don't. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Yeah, it goes down. Waste of a Banshee. How sick is that, by the way, that a Zealot can take a tank fire? It literally ignites on fire, and it continues to run forward into the battlefield, because it is a badass. Zealots are crazy. Don't mess with Zealots, guys. Oh, did that ghost die? Ooh, that's actually a really big deal. No EMPs this time. He's Lillekanin is severely out of position for this fight. Oh my god, the Phoenix catch him off guard, though the Vikings certainly weren't ready for this. The Banshees won't be. He'll clear out the Colossus, but will it have been worth it? The Vikings are actually going to barely win out the Viking, or the Banshee, or sorry, the Phoenix fight, I guess. This is awkward as hell. I've never seen this fight go down, but that is a hell of a lot of Banshees, guys. You got 12 of them going in for a kill move on this Nexus. If you've never seen 3-port Banshee, you've never seen 12 Banshees before. I have. You're gonna watch this Nexus go down faster than anybody's business you've ever seen before. Look at this thing fall! It's like Marauders stemmed on top of it! The Banshees, of course, have terrible AI. I'm gonna focus on all the wrong units over here, but yeah, the Phoenix is gonna start picking them off. Let's not forget, Phoenixes deal double damage to these Banshees, so their time is pretty much up. I think he knew it too, so that's why he's just going for as much damage as he could. Lillekanin, though, with that base snipe, sets Starnan back to what is 3 mineral patches mining. Not 1 base mining, not 2 base mining. But with all of these wonderful technological advances and these Stargates, he doesn't have a bank to work with. Lillekanin has the map to play with. I can't believe it, but I think he's going to win this game through attrition more than anything else. He tries to throw down another Nexus. Granted, this will take some time to build, but if there's one thing to deal with a lot of Phoenix, it's a couple of Widow Mines. It's some Thors. It's clumped up hell for these poor units. We got so many Banshees when we built this game. Like I said, Banshees can really get work done if used correctly in StarCraft 2. Let's not forget there was that one Banshee earlier that had about 17 worker kills on it. The other like 7 that just committed suicide for that base. A lot of weird stuff you can do. But oh boy, these Phoenixes clumped up. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. GG's called. Lillekanin will mech his way to victory. Game number 1 is going to go to our meching Terran player versus a Protoss. Congratulations to him.